everybody. My name is Alan Kett. I'm the co-founder of the Museum of Graffiti. Very happy and excited to be here in Austin, Texas with all of you, taking in the vibe, taking in the energy, and so happy and feeling so blessed that you are all here and have shown us love and support over the past few days. It really means a lot to us. When we decided to do this, we had no idea what would be the outcome. We knew we were coming to town with our knowledge and expertise, and we knew we had a community here waiting for us to sort of hold us and guide us, but we didn't know how many people were part of the hip-hop scene here and the level of turnout that would happen. So thank you all for coming here today and for continuing to come back during the weekend. It's been a magical weekend for us, from presenting the exhibition to the DJ sets, the MCs that have been with us for the past few days, to the writers that have come out to paint and hold us down on that side, and y'all dancing with us today. So big up to all of you that have been contributing. And so we have an esteemed panel here today. I don't know if you know these people. If you don't, you should. And if you don't, you're gonna know today. And so this is, as far as my research and what we know, this is Austin hip hop right here in the building in front of you. These are some of the, I would say these are some of the OGs from the city, some of the elders that are holding it down and still part of the movement today. You know, sometimes you get older like me and you might have moved on and you do something else and you don't really know what's up anymore because you're out of the scene. Not true for these people. These people are in it, they're still doing it, they're still holding it down, probably more so than some of you all young people out there, which is amazing. Because it's you guys got track records and careers as well. And so instead of me introducing each and every one of you, I'd like for you to introduce yourself to the audience. Tell them a little bit about who, your name, who you are, when you got started involved in what you do, and then we'll keep going.
Hello, hello. What's up, y'all? Thanks for coming out. My name is Sloke One. I represent the MBK crew, No Boundaries crew. I'm an Austin native, second generation graffiti writer. But before I keep going, I want to give a shout out to this man right here. This is Kane. This is the godfather of Austin graffiti.
Yeah.
And I want to give another shout out to the Don, the godfather of Austin hip hop, Mr. Chale. Yeah.
Legend.
So long story short, I grew up on Robert's work and Scam's work. They were painting partners. Scam I consider my mentor. I met Scam in 1990, and I've been painting ever since. I travel all over, but Austin's still my home. And to be here on this panel with all of these fine people is definitely an honor. And to meet you, Ket, you're a legend, you know that. And Allison, thank you. And to everybody, I'm really happy y'all came out because Austin has always had a small scene when it came to hip hop, but here we are. So it's been like a reunion. So thank you very much.
Y'all go first.
What's up, y'all? I'm T-Double, born and raised in Austin. And as a lot of people know, I've done some amazing things from music and movies to Grammy nominations and all these things, but I always come back home to the place that raised me. And it's good to be here with all these folks. And I started very young. I sent my first demo to Warner Brothers Records when I was 8 years old, so I knew what I wanted to do. And I did it. So, we'll get more into it, but it's good to be here with Slogue, Andy, Ket, Rome. And, so I love all y'all. Keep supporting Austin hip-hop because it is a scene. It's been a scene. And it needs to be covered more. And I'm from a time where you couldn't do hip-hop on 6th Street. You couldn't do hip-hop on this side of town. So to see this happening over here is an amazing thing.
Oh man, love you guys so much. I'm Andy Skull. Thank you. I'm the founder of Hope, the Helping Other People Everywhere campaign, which then created a project called the Hope Outdoor Gallery. And I hope all of you have been along with us on the journey for a couple years now, and us relocating and building that new park across from the airport. But you know, when Kat and Allison said they want to put together this panel, and I was thinking about, like, what is the role really that I play within this? Because I'm the only one on the panel that isn't born and raised in Austin, but I've been here 29 years. And, you know, I realized that counted the first time I was talking to some kid. And they were like, well, you've been here longer than me. So I was like, shit. But what I thought of was, as soon as I got here, I came here to go to UT, and I grew up in New Jersey. That's right. Advertising, got here and, like, you know, fell in love with the city right away. But I grew up in Jersey and New York and clubbing in the Limelight and De La Soul. I mean, 3 Feet High and Rising changed my life. I mean, I was at Webster Hall. I mean, the hip hop community was my community. And so the first thing that I tried to find as soon as I got here was the hip hop community. And that's really what I realized with this panel, that the importance of us talking about us as a community. Like, we have these pillars, but without platforms and producers, people like Museum of Graffiti, that give a space where culture can be seen and enjoyed by the culture, the community. You know, we can be creators all day, but we need you know, the rest of the community to be a part of it and be involved. So that's what I feel. That's my part and role, like, with the art park.
Andy.
My name's Romeo Navarro.
Here we go.
I come from Austin, Texas. I represent the neighborhoods of Austin. I produce a convention of hip hop and breaking in Austin that's been going around since 1998. It is the longest running breaking hip hop event, probably in the US now, besides Freestyle Session. Our next platform will be the Olympic Games 2024 in Paris, August 6th to the 10th. Breaking will be in the Olympics, and the Nationals will be next door.
Yes, sir.
Next door, Paris, May 6th. But let's go back before the Olympics and all that, right? Shout outs to Kane, Charlie. I grew up looking up to Kane. I went to Travis Heights School right there. Travis Heights, my people can't even afford to live there no more, right? But I looked up to Scam, to Kane growing up. Even the B-boys, there was B-boys here, late 70s, 79s, coming, International Airport, Bertram International Airport used to be Air Force. I don't know if you don't remember that. So kids from the Bronx got in the military while the Bronx was burning. Didn't want to be there, got in the military, landed in the Air Force. They had kids, went to Travis High School, and that's pretty much trickled down to hip hop into Austin. I know DJ Casanova, also from New York, trickled down hip hop in Austin. But 84, 83, Charlie, B-boy movement was in Austin. But by the time I was in love with breaking. 83, 84. By 86, 87, 89, I think it kind of went away. And by the time I got to junior high, like 90s, all those B-boys became gang members. I was surrounded. 1996, there's an article, it says there was 5,000 gang members in Austin.
True story.
So that's what I was surrounded from. So why did the kids rebelled? Why did they needed to pick up weapons? I mean, a B-Boy City 1, 1998, we had metal detectors, right? So I asked myself, they keep asking me, why did these kids bring in weapons to breaking events? I go, well, they felt like they needed to defend themselves. They felt threatened, discriminated, felt like they didn't belong anywhere, right? I heard that some of the older b-boys will break downtown and they'll get kicked out and get arrested for trespassing. So there was no place for them to go. And I didn't want that for me, right? So I started these events in '98. Slowly throughout the years, man, I had to hire mad security, ex-gang members as security, because they know, they could see it. Yo, okay, 25 years of breaking events, no fights.
Say it again, say it again.
So it was unity at the first B-Boy City. There was 300 B-Boys from all over Texas. I wanted us to come together once the B-Boys saw each other again and felt like they could come here in a safe haven and they could just break, graph, rhyme, DJ without the violence. It became united. Everybody united. After that, peace came. When peace came, your heart's in peace. Your mind's in peace. So the levels went up. The skill levels went up. Everybody started getting good because they didn't have to worry about getting jumped outside. They weren't about, all that street stress went away. You know what I mean? So right here, no discrimination, no racism. We don't believe in that. We come together as unity, right? United. That's what hip hop was meant to do. So 300 members. Next thing you know, the next one's 500. It started spreading. Peace came, and then the love came. It started spreading all over the world. We started doing B-Boy City, Mexico. They're going on their 14th year. Africa, Europe, Asia. I was traveling before I got married, before I became a firefighter. That's what I did. That fire. Y'all saw the cypher today? Who saw the cypher? You saw that energy? I used to tell people all the time, well, Raj is not here. This is the way I tell B-boys, yo, if somebody starts shit, you let me and Raj put out the fire. Let me talk to him. I explain. You see that energy on the floor? You want it on your face or on the floor? Regardless, we're gonna release that shit. And there's 50 of us. You're not gonna win, right? Long story short, we gained the trust of the city from being trespassers to now creating peace, love, and unity. We are now welcome. We are at South by Southwest. We are now hosting the Nationals for the Olympics.
Yeah.
From being looked at as thugs. I mean, I couldn't even, back in the days, we couldn't even get in the venues. No tennis shoes, no hats, no baggy clothes. Why? Because they didn't trust us. It took years, almost 3 decades, to now they saw the art form and they saw that if you gave us a place to release our energy, we will make something great. And now, what we're doing now is giving back to the kids, the future. That's it for me, man.
Thank you, thank you. You know, the story that you mentioned is a story that is very common around the world in cities. The story, you could have been talking about New York City. For me, it sounded like you were talking about Universal Zulu Nation, right? It's the same story. Every city seems to have adults at one point that just didn't get it. They didn't get the youthful energy, the power of the youth. They didn't understand the language, the sound, the dance, the art, and it's been that way for a long time, but it's been changing. And we were talking about this earlier, how that change also happens because now we're the adults. Yes. We're the adults in charge. It's up to us. We have a responsibility to step up for the next generation, to be the leaders in our community and in hip hop culture. And it's happening as crew leaders, organizers, venue operators, people that are just seeing their dreams. And so I applaud all of you for pursuing that and for sticking it out, because just like you see us up here, there were thousands of us. You said 300 and 5. There were thousands and thousands of contributors that fell off, that went away, that were pushed out, so to speak, that our families didn't believe in this. Whether if you were a writer, you know, there was no career, and now you're talking about hip hop, and you're talking about breaking in the Olympics. That's an incredible journey for an art form, and so I want to just continue on this path of reminiscing for a minute and ask you, Sloke, how was it in the graffiti scene here as well? Was it the same? Was it always on the outs? Has that changed? And where are we today with Austin? Has Austin embraced writing or not? How do you see it?
Well,
here we go.
My story is very similar to what Romeo said. First of all, when I started writing in 1990, after meeting Scam and Robert and Rage and Tanner, it was all, the writing scene was dead. It was all, like you said, it was all gangbanging. You know, the East Side was covered in tags. If a piece came up, it was usually dissed, and it was by a rival gang. Of course, Robert could, talk more about that than me, but I was just a toy coming up. And back then, if you weren't in the circle and you didn't know somebody, you weren't getting in, you know? And I grew up on the West Side, and most of these cats were from the East Side and the South Side. Well, I grew up on the West Side in a trailer, so it ain't no Terrytown, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I know about government cheese. So, it doesn't matter. That's besides the point, The point is, I remember seeing graffiti for the first time in Beach Street, the movie, right? And I remember that wave that swept through here. I was like in 5th grade. And it was short-lived, And that's why I applaud cats like T-Double and Romeo for keeping this culture going. Because I come from the culture aspect. I don't come from the commerce aspect, The game's different now. Long story short, it's always been a small scene. In '94, I met a writer by the name of Saint, Kelly Edwards. And if y'all want to know history, that's the man. I look at it like this. When it comes to kings and graffiti in Austin history, you had Scam, you had Saint, Kelly, and then you had Gomer. Gomer, he's still around. He's doing his thing. And what I mean by kings, I mean cats that could do it all. Productions, tagging, bombing, piecing. That's right. You know what I'm talking about. So, Exactly. That's the attitude. You know what I'm talking about. And these were cats that were holding it down, and some of them weren't from Austin, some of them were. It didn't matter. The point was, are you putting in work, I come from a generation where there was respect. Sure, maybe it wasn't always practiced, but when Scam asked me to help him do a mural, I said, yes, sir. Carry his crates. I was like his caddy. Maybe I was cheap labor, I don't know, but it was an honor. Because here was somebody opening the door for me. It was super underground. So in '94, I met Saint. We started MBK, No Boundaries Crew. Next year is our 30th anniversary. We're still doing it. Major props to my crew and other crews. But to answer your question, long story short, the game's different, man. I mean, I grew up, we had no support. We had no support. And that's okay, because we weren't looking for support. We were doing it because we loved it. And everybody was telling us, the politicians, the cops, the heroes, the public, it's not art. It's not art. Well, neither is Banksy, right? So, depends on how you look at it. I look at that like what Tristan did, and I see skill, and that was done with a spray can. That's art. Art's subjective, man. Nowadays, it's street art. All right? There's a big difference. I'm gonna make this short. Graffiti is about letters. All right? Street art comes from graffiti. Okay? Back when I was coming up, if you had a can, you were either doing stencils, which is a form of street art, or you were tagging or piecing. All right? Now, the spray can has just become another tool, another medium like a paintbrush. And this is what happens when things evolve. And yes, things get watered down and packaged and become generic, but there's always, you got to give respect to the cats that laid down the foundation. Because it's usually the pioneers that don't get no love. And that's all right. I'm not up here asking for y'all's respect. I'm shooting it straight. Cats like Robert right here, you know? I mean, I asked Robert, and correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, but I asked him, you know, why did you get into it? And he said, I loved it. I love doing art. And that's what I'm talking about. It's the love, right? You got to have the heart for the art. I tell a lot of the, because I teach too, I mentor youth, and I tell them, if you're getting into art to try to get rich and famous, good luck. Good luck. You know, because they're going to be tough times. Maybe you will, but, you know, take a ticket and get in back of line. It's cool to see that these art forms are available to everybody these days, you know? To see parents, you know, I'm 50, man, right? A lot of my friends, they have kids, and they're getting into it, you know? And that's a beautiful thing, because that's what keeps it going. And just like you said, Romeo, it is up to the youth, because y'all gonna be carrying the torch. But as an older writer, I feel like it's my responsibility to pass on what was taught to me. And that's what keeps it going. So has Austin embraced it? No. Austin's embraced street art. Why? Because money's involved, straight up. But that's okay, because we never did it for the public anyway.
Yes, sir. I'm going to keep dancing anyway. I'm going to say something if y'all don't say something.
You're welcome to jump in. So instead of this being this moderator thing, and we can moderate, just let's make it a conversation. Right?
All right.
Well, I mean, I would love to bounce off of that with Nate, because I feel that, for sure, I mean, a big part of our closeness and friendship is this conversation. Us, like, constantly looking at, like, the monetary versus the art, if you will, but at the same time, the career versus the hobby, or just the love, you know? And if we want to talk about next generations and really elevating and seeing where we're at and all the hard work that's been put in and the stamina that it took to get here, well then what is the career that you're showing a kid that then they could spend the rest of their life doing, that their parents could be proud of, be excited for them, you know? And so I think that is a lot of what we started learning through the Hope Outdoor Gallery, you know? When a friend of mine brought me over to those walls, I just started Hope with a pretty well-known artist. He's considered a street artist, Shepard Fairey. And Shepard designed the Hope logo, and you know, and him and I met because I am an artist. I'm a graphic designer. I mean, I grew up like doing all kinds of different photography and drawing, but I never was a muralist or a graffiti writer. But you know, hip hop was my culture, and so I ended up meeting Shepard Fairey because him and I were asked to design logos for Kobe Bryant. And I came up with this idea of the Helping Other People Everywhere campaign as a way to allow creatives and artists to donate their time to things they believe in. So anyway, Nate and I had already known each other. I think he was touring through LA or something to call me. And cut to like a friend bring me over to those walls in Clarksville. And I was like, this is insane. I mean, like my friend was like, don't you think it'd be cool to like put some posters up here or something? And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, that's like a massive project. So I called Nate and I called Billy Bishop. And I was like, listen, you two come out here, and if you see something, I'm in, you know? Like, and so together we came up with the idea of an outdoor gallery, you know? And the way we ended up describing it was a visual open mic. You know, that as Austinites, I felt, as soon as I got here, it being the live music capital, people were so accustomed to open mics just from musicians. But having a place where it was safe to come paint, and that was what I felt from you, Nate, right away. When you were like, oh, I know these walls. Like, we've been painting here forever. We just have to do it in the dark. So I was like, wow, how cool would it be to have an art form that wasn't practiced under stressful conditions? Like hiding in the dark. What about being able to just practice it in the light? Like in a calm, loving, joyful way. And so that simple, you know, platform. And so that's why I go back to, you know, me being a part of the support team of a community, not only as a participant, but, you know, the importance of having platforms. You know, and I got a taste of that in high school. I forgot about this when my brother was bringing it up. He's like, remember, Andy, you started Hip Hoptober at our high school. It's a tradition still going on at my high school. But I was like, all right, because I knew all these great hip hop DJ friends of mine, and I was like, more people need to know about my friends. You know, and so that's where we have venues and galleries or you know, because you need a wall, you need a floor, you need a stage.
You know, in what you're saying about building these platforms and building these venues, these are things that now we're able to do because we've grown. We're no longer those teenagers that need to necessarily creep, right?
Exactly,
We know how to
exactly.
knock on the door and say, we need this, we need that, we need the resource, negotiate with whoever we need. And so you guys coming together to start that and kick that off, that's a testament to the power of community and seeing and having a vision. And then to the point of, let's say, street art getting its due. When I look around the United States, let's say the past 20 years, we've always been at the forefront of arts and culture for many years as far as hip hop culture, but we've been behind in visual arts culture compared to Europe or other places, because they've been having these jams for 30 years already. They've been having, not street artists, graffiti artists that are doing works that are bigger than any street artist that you could ever imagine. Dime from Munich, Lumit from Munich, have painted the biggest murals in the world, and their letters. Their letters, they haven't forgotten, but they just know the game. They know how to speak to government officials. They know how to get partnerships.
Being in the
they
front
understood
lines
that.
and being in the front lines and just represent us. You know, like now at my age, it's talking to corporations, talking to governments. I've never known nothing like that. I've never known anything like that, right? But coming as a b-boy, 4 elements of hip hop. I was talking to DJ Kool Herc. I had a 1-week time with DJ Kool Herc and some of the Rocksteady members. Red Bull paid for me to just hang out with these guys. Rocksteady members, you know we're brothers, right? 4 elements. I'm gonna break it down to you. The graffiti artist, the oldest brother, like to smoke, drink, graph, you know, paint, very visual. Then you got the DJ, which is, call it the mama's boy, always staying home, digging in the crates. Computers, sound system, always, you know what I mean? They never want to hang out. And then you had the b-boy. He said, the bastard of the crew, always got to run around, 30 homies out in the streets. But we all work together. We're the ones who pass out the flyers. We're the one who rock your stuff, the graffiti art. We rock it, we make it fresh. And then he goes, you got the MC, the youngest, spoiled, wants all the money, wants the gold chains, wants all the ladies. But together, us one, we're a big force. Man, I started looking at that, I'm like, yes. And I started looking at my brothers, my graffiti artists. I was like, I got a son now. I stopped teaching because I became a firefighter. Breaking saved my life. For some reason, I got away. They didn't catch me. I don't have any record. I'm clean. I was like, I'm gonna be a firefighter with my boy. We're gonna be in the front lines, saving the community. We're doing so much. But then my son one time was like, Ron, Dad, can you teach me? Teach you what? Dance? Yes. So all right, let's go practice. And we were practicing. And I was, man, this is a lot more funner if you had some friends with you. So I was like, I'm gonna start an academy with Raj, Hope for Hip Hop. We got what, 30 kids now?
Roger Davis in the house.
We got 30 kids now. But then I was like, yo, it's not enough. Breaking is not enough. I said, I want the masters, my friends, to upload everything they know to these kids. I want my son to get to know Slope, to get to know T-Double. Every master that I know that's still alive. Ken Swift told me that from Rocksteady. I'm still here, Rome. Tell your kids to come kick it with me. I'll fly over there to Austin. And then it snapped. I said, they're still around. They gotta learn. They gotta learn. That's my main goal now, is to learn from the masters, their history, from Kane to T-Double, producing music, you know, all that from internet. This culture is so beautiful. My son can go to Mexico and be accepted, the B-boys. He can go to Asia and he can learn graffiti over there without even knowing the language. Accepted. I was like, yo, it's beautiful. And to me, that's my main focus of this hip-hop elements, the brothers and sisters, is for the next generations to travel and learn the arts. Have a good time, peace, love, and unity, rather than stressing out all the time. They say, I see a lot of death in my profession. What do you do for therapy, Rome? Fucking break. I'll go see some art. I'll go listen to T-Double on Tuesdays. You know what I mean? I'll go follow my brothers. I'll go where they're at. And it heals me. It heals me. It brings me back.
What you're saying about healing and hip-hop as a healing force and dancing and having brotherhood and schools. We're talking about schools. You know, the music brings us together like that. The DJs, we never give it up enough for the DJs sometimes. Because without the music...
Because the DJs don't want to hang out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go buy some records, dog. I'm going to go to this record fucking convention.
They've been up all night.
Yeah, and for me to kind of jump in there, 'cause I'm kind of the quiet one, unless I'm rhyming somewhere. But, you know, you've heard about, like, the West Side. You heard, like, the South Side. Tell you about the East Side. When I came up on the East Side, we didn't have a gang problem. We had a drug problem. We had a drug dealer problem, right? That's where most of the drugs were coming in. That's where a lot of the hustlers were. It was kind of like Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen, like, Paid in Full, that movie with Cameron and all them? That was like the East Side, right? Like, everybody was flashy. We had a place called the Harlem Theater, literally. That was a movie theater where everybody hung out, a lot of food places. But those were like my dad's friends, you know what I'm saying? So they would all watch over me and make sure that I didn't get into the drug game. I didn't get into pimping and prostitution. And they always made sure I stuck to music. So my thing was, since I was around a hustling environment, what was going to be my hustle? What was I going to get into? And hip-hop was just emerging. It was just really starting to jump off here in Austin. So I was already writing poetry and all that. So I said, what if I start putting it to music? What if I start creating my own sounds? And like I was telling you, my mom would take me to Sears at Hancock Center, which is no longer there now. But she would take me to Sears every Sunday, and I would get a keyboard from the keyboard department and go to the boombox department and put it in front of the boombox because you can record directly into it. And I would cut demos every Sunday, right? Because I didn't have a studio. So
I'm going to make one.
So shit. So I would cut, maybe, what my mom shopped. I would make like maybe 10 songs every Sunday. And then after I gathered all these songs, I would go to school at Maplewood Elementary, and I would be like selling my cassettes at school. And I would be hustling. That became my hustle. I would tell kids in school, hey, for lunch tomorrow when they give you that big rectangle pizza, tell me what you want me to say on the tape. I'll put it on the tape and I'll trade you that tape for that pizza. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll make you a tape for $1 or whatever. And then I was like, breaking, and all these movies started coming out. And I was like, I think I want to get a record deal. I want to make a record. And my mom was a teacher, and she was like, well, how are you going to do that? You got to think about it, right? What's your steps to do that? So I went through my dad's records, and I found Prince Controversy. And on the back, it said he was on Warner Brothers Records. He wrote, produced, arranged, composed, blah, 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 all that himself. So I said, that's how you make records. You do it all yourself, which I still do. So I sent my demo to Warner Brothers at 8 years old. At 8 years old, y'all not catching that. So, some people playing with cars and trying to, see what they're gonna do. I was already like.
Let me just jump in. That might sound amazing to y'all right now, but that was regular back then.
Yeah.
Cats are doing graffiti at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like people were dancing. Hip hop is youthful.
Yes.
So you were on time.
Yes.
Don't give it up because he was early.
The
He
cool
was actually
kids, the
on
cool
time.
kids.
Yeah. But in Austin, nobody was doing it like that. Nobody was thinking that way. So I've always been ahead of the curve, even till now. So I sent it to Warner Brothers. They wrote me back. They gave me the little letter. Thanks for sending that. That's cute. And and I was like, oh shit, they wrote me back, right? It was just the acknowledgement that they wrote me back, right? I was like, it's on. So I just started cutting more cassette tapes, selling cassette tapes, building my name, building, T-Double, what I wanted to be. Got to Keelan Junior High. I formed Dope Melody. And Dope Melody became one of the biggest groups in Austin behind Project Crew. Like there was Project Crew, there was Coolie Girls, there was Papa Chuck, who was actually the first MC out of Austin to be signed to, I believe, Relativity. He was on the same label as Diggable Planets, Lords of the Underground, and all them. And he's from right here. Went to high school with him at Reagan. So watching all those guys do it, I was like, I can do this too. So Dope Melody, we became the shit over there on the east side. And the crazy part is, on the east side, we were selling out the Park. We were selling out Doris Miller, Givens, thousands of people. We were like 15 making $500, $1,000 as kids and couldn't get a show downtown unless we paid the insurance for the venue, right? Unless they gave us exposure, like we'll put your name in the Chronicle or we'll put it in the paper and that's all you get. So we decided to stay over there and keep doing our thing and putting out these records. And I was telling all my friends, yo, we need to try to get away inside the industry. How are we gonna do that? And I just kept being the one in the forefront, learning the business, so that way I could come back to the hood. I got a book on the music business. And I would come back to the hood in Colony Park where I was staying. And I would get all of my friends together. We would sit around in a circle. Because the thing about knowledge, if you're the only one with knowledge, everybody else think you're trying to fuck them. Because they don't know the knowledge, right? So I would sit around with all my friends, and each one of us would read a page out of the music business book and pass it around to all my friends. So we all knew the same thing. Nobody was smarter than everybody else. Everybody knew the same game. Eventually went on to work for South by Southwest, booking all the hip hop. Worked at Arista Records. We had Arista Records here. And a lot of people don't know Def Jam South was in Austin first. A lot of people think it was Atlanta with Scarface as the president, first artist Ludacris. They actually came to Austin first, but we weren't really ready artistically for a label of that magnitude. So I've been a part of all these intersections of making shit happen. And now just like Romeo and Sloke, like we're all educating the kids. Started Urban Artists Alliance. So I could teach young artists how to own your music, how to own your publishing, how to create sustainable revenue from your art past when you put it out so you can keep growing and building. I'm into movies and syncing for, Transformers, Breaking Bad, Rick and Morty. A lot of projects out there got my name and my imprint on it. And whenever I step out at the Grammys, been Grammy nominated, whenever I go to those places, I'm always wearing an Austin shirt. You can look at my social media, it's always Austin. So I rep the town. So coming from the east side where everybody was hustling and drug dealing, I got into music. I made sure that people came up behind me were into music and make sure that the MCs relate to Rome, to Slow, and now with Andy, so we can all just keep building this scene. So the east side was smoking too.
East side, like back in the days, if you're from the south side, you couldn't go to the east side.
True.
You couldn't go to it was not allowed.
True.
I didn't have a dad when I was 13 or 12. And I always got little girlfriends everywhere. So I will go to the east side because my girlfriend. And I will go to these hip hop events, with LBJ and Reagan.
Yeah.
And that's how I met T.
Yeah.
They were like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm trying to see this girl." But that's how I started seeing all this hip hop everywhere.
Exactly. CBS crew. I started hanging with Rome. Like what us sitting here now couldn't have happened years ago. It was just so much tension between
so much
the sides
tension.
of town.
Like there was so much segregation, and but hip hop brought us all together.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful story. One day we're gonna make a movie out of this. It's a beautiful story. Sloke, I met him like early '90s. You know what I mean? I started seeing MBK on the walls, and I was like, who the fuck are these guys? Shit, that's some dope stuff, And then I know Blondies. I started hanging around Blondies.
Yes,
and
Blondies.
At the same time, the Rich. And then we started CBS Crew to bring Breaking back. And then T-Double, these guys, always been the music. The brothers never stop.
Yeah.
I applaud everybody. Some people are in it for a minute and then they leave. But we straight. 40 years.
Non-stop.
We in the front lines. Regardless, I said, either in the Olympics or it's on MTV, we're going to be in our own little hood, little garage, riding, dancing. If it's just me and my son and Raj dancing, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
That's the love that we have for this community and art.
Can I
You both just brought up something that I thought was super cool, and more wanted to kind of engage more of the friends here. So you just said the Ritz, right? And to me, like going back to like where they kick you out the club, they wouldn't let you in. And then as I was thinking about this panel, I started bringing up memories of when I got here, and I'm like, well, where is the scene? You know? And someone told me about Nasties. Someone told me about the B-side, you know? Someone told me about Victory Grill. And that's when I, as a 19-year-old, started to really learn and see, okay, this city does have hip-hop culture. And then as I kept moving and finding other friends that were all going to the show, that's when I walk and I see this crazy kid doing like backflips on the dance floor. There's this kid named Rome. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And
A whole lot of energy.
I had just so much energy. Sometimes I would leave I was like, he's gonna make me want to try and do that. But I was thinking, you know, with our local crowd here, like really talking about where we are now and how we got here, and that there has been this beautiful, you know, growth. You know, that by then, you know, I remember Red Fez and Hip Hop Sundays, and Matt Lucky, you know, I was doing Push Magazine in the Warehouse District, and again, making more platforms for stuff to be seen and done, and I remember him calling me to come and like sit in the bar one morning, and I was like, what? It's like 11 a.m. He's like, Andy, you gotta come downstairs. So we go into Lavaca Street, and he like comes in, and he like pours 2 shots of tequila. I'm like, what the? He's like, sit down. I'm like, okay. He's like, take the shot. I'm like, I don't know how to think of it. All right, I'll take a shot with you. He's like, there was a drive-by shooting at Red Fez at Hip Hop Sunday last night.
Yep.
He's looking at me. He's like, Andy, I need you to talk me out of stopping Hip Hop Sundays.
Yep.
And I did. I sat there with him, and I was like, Matt, he's like, Andy, luckily no one got hurt, you know, but, you know, this isn't, I'm like, Matt, you know, we have to have these conversations, you know, but the part that I remember about that was him being like, this is so important to our community. You know, like, we're trying to have more of this in the downtown scene. We're trying to do more. We want to support more. And it's stuff like this that makes it where then I have to go talk to people and blah, blah, blah. But here it is now, like a major museum and, you know, I mean, Nate, you get huge jobs now. You know, in Rome, you traveled around the world and like teaching. I mean, it's incredible how,
you know, I
where
think,
this
you know,
culture's gone.
You know, hearing the stories, everybody here stepped up. Everybody here stepped up and created something to give back for all those beautiful experiences as a young person that you had as a result of your love for hip hop, for your love of graffiti, for your love of dance, all of it. You guys stepped up. And in the individual conversations that we've had, you stepped up in a way to create something sustainable so that it could continue to grow. And you stepped up in a way to teach and give back to the community, which is similar to my personal journey with the Museum of Graffiti. And so we're all doing the same thing in our own way to give back for something that gave us incredible friendships, incredible community, incredible memories, but we want to give it back to the youth of the next generation, because if we don't give it back, it'll end. It's actually our responsibility. The reason why the museum exists is because I feel responsible personally to make it continue. I throw that on my shoulders just like you guys throw the work that you do on your shoulders. So everybody, please give it up for these people, these leaders that are doing the work. It's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. Slowly but surely, there's accolades. You're talking about the Olympics. Slowly but surely, the world wakes up and the mainstream acknowledges. And all of a sudden, you said this before, all of a sudden there's jobs. There's ways to make a living. Painting. You learn how to adapt and grow, and there's ways to make a living, and we can teach the next generation so they don't have to struggle and go through the same trials and tribulations that we did through, because if we get the blueprint, we can share that blueprint. T-Double, we were talking about that, and you're working on that.
You know, like to add to that is like, You know, one thing I really want to enforce from this panel and from all these events is, if you're a parent with kids, support your kids' dreams. You know, because they could either be up here one day or they could be in that one day. You hear that siren? See the timing? You know what I'm saying? So support your kids' dreams and tell them you got their back, and, you know, give them a hug if something fails and say it's going to be all right. And, yeah.
I want to say something really quick. As much as each of us up here on this panel have made our contributions to the culture, there are so many people in this crowd and in the community that have done the same. You know, like, I want to give mad props to DJ Notion, you know, he's a silent pillar in the local hip hop community. There's so many people. And it was said earlier, none of this could exist if it wasn't for all of us participating. So thanks. Much love.
I want to backpack on that. You know, I'm just in the front. I'm probably like the loudest out of my crew because I shout a lot. What? You know what I mean? I talk a lot. But, man, there's 5,000, there's 10,000 of us. There's 40 million B-boys and B-girls all over the world. You know what I mean? But my boys right here, my crew, without them, I don't exist. I love y'all.
We don't have a lot of time left for the panel, but I want to bring in the voice of these people, of our community that are here. And so we'd like to take a few minutes for some questions for the public, if there are any. If not, we'll continue to talk up here. But if there's anybody that has a question, that has a comment, something that you want to share or say, now's the time. Anybody?
It's working.
It's like free consulting right now if you ask the right question.
That's right. It
Not
is
like
kind of
anyone
free
here will just
consulting.
give it to you.
Any questions? All right, hang on a second. I'm gonna come up. No questions. All right, hang on. Let me give you the mic.
Andre.
I never asked you. You talked about the division. Oh. Do have to? I don't.
It's all right. It's all right. Just,
You talked about the division of the neighborhoods and the sites. How were you able to cross over? I never asked you that.
Which one? Who are you talking to? Rome?
Yeah.
I was always in danger. There's times I got jumped. I'll come home, how to get stitches and stuff. But I survived, right? I always believed there's a higher being guiding me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will go to the east side, to the south side, just go to different. But I knew one day that we will all come together. It will, I just believe, for some reason, I believe that it was beyond the colors. You know what I mean? Behind the colors, beyond what the old people used to think. Music and art and dance brings us all together. Your color becomes part of your style.
That question's a really interesting question. And from my experience in traveling myself and from meeting men and women like this around the world, people that are down with hip hop, whether they're writers or they're MCs, DJs, B-boys, they travel, they move, they pioneer, they get around. It doesn't matter if they catch their lumps. They have to do it. They are explorers. They're going to those neighborhoods. They're trying to meet other people like them. You won't meet these people if you don't go to where they're at.
Yeah.
And so
Yes,
that's
sir.
a
Yes,
common trait, the exploration that the hip hop community has. You hear about an ill dancer, you want to go see what they're about. You want to go see their moves and challenge them, battle them.
yo.
Right? Same thing if you're a writer. You want to
The
go
warriors.
see it. If you hear about a piece before the phone, the internet, you have to actually go see it for yourself. Spend some time with it. Maybe study it. Maybe if you're lucky, you meet that person. And so for all of you that are here, you're not going to learn about hip-hop culture on your phone. Nope. You're not going to learn it on the computer. You have to go and live it, right? I always tell kids that when I do classroom speaking, and I say, how many of y'all are hip-hop? And all the kids raise your hand. And then I say, all right, so what do you guys do? Who are the B-boys? No hands go up. Who are the MCs? No hands go up. Who are the graffiti writers? No hands go up. I'm like, you guys are not hip hop. You guys are customers,
right?
Right? You watch hip hop. You don't live hip hop. Hip hop is something you're supposed to live. You actually have to do it, right? You have to participate. It's not a passive thing, right? And so I encourage you to get involved. Don't be scared to be on the mic. Get on the mic, right? Speak to people. Get out of your comfort zone. It'll be good for you. It'll be a healthy thing to get out of your comfort zone. Any other questions from the audience?
Steph.
Hi. I think to answer her question was like one of the ways that Rome kind of brought East and South together and bridged that gap was like he would throw B-Boy City events in Montopolis Rec Center as well as like South Austin Center. And so he would really just bring the communities together and promote B-Boy City and the culture in different neighborhoods. And I think that really bridged the gap.
Yeah, and to add to that, to bring the neighborhoods together is like, you couldn't go to the South Side if you wasn't tight with your shit. Like if you really couldn't dance, you just couldn't go over there. Cause that's more of a reason for you to get whooped and ran up out of there because you came over there with that bullshit. Just like with rapping, you know what I mean, on the East Side, you can't come over here if you ain't got bars. That's why certain MCs from that era from the East Side are nice with it. That's why when we did Hip Hop Hum Day and we did Boombox and we did all those things, we would tell MCs they couldn't get on the stage. When we did Hip Hop Hum Day, if there was a show at Stubbs, they would come to Hip Hop Hum Day afterwards. Like we would have Wu-Tang, Inspector Deck, all these guys come to our shows, De La Soul, everybody, and we would tell them, no, you can't get on the stage with us right now. In another city, you might can just walk up there because you're whoever. Here, you wait till we're finished rhyming. So we put a stamp on it that this is Austin, you got to wait till we get down. And then we let them get up there and rhyme and cypher with us and all that. But, you know, MCs from the South or the West Side, they couldn't come to the East Side if you really couldn't. You couldn't freestyle. You couldn't read off your phone at the time. You couldn't put out your notebook. You got to be on the spot, spontaneous. I couldn't really run with CBS and all these crews if I wasn't in with Romeo. You know what I mean? Like you had to have that plug to bring you in there. So that's really how a lot of these neighborhoods really started working together and why the talent was so high.
From the neighborhoods worldwide, you know, like you said, some kids from Europe, like I heard about these B-boys from B-Boy City. No, they will fly to Austin and try to test us. And they will get smoked. And they were going to tell some other motherfuckers over there, and they try to come back. Next thing you know, we have the whole world in Austin try to test us. Until today, B-Boy City is known one of the hardest events to win. You can win all the energy drink competition, but can you win the city? Like, known dancers will come out here just to like, yo, you want that shit? Like, the price will be not $10,000. It'll be like less than what we can give you, but it wasn't about that. If you won the city, that means you are the greatest in the world. And that's what it matters with. Those that hip-hop was about was bragging rights. You know what I mean? It wasn't really about the money. You know, it is now, but at the same time, it's like you want like the kids. To me, the hardest kids are the elementary kids. Because sometimes you play some stuff like, oh, don't turn that off. It's giving me a headache. But once they think, you cool, you're hip hop. I tell Babu, yo, Boo, I heard your stuff. It's like, you heard it? They go, yeah, everybody at UT loves it, right? I go, but do the kids at Meadowbrook love it? Because if they said it's whack, it's whack.
And you know,
that's it.
And you know, it's like, one thing you got to remember, you got to surround yourself with real friends who's going to tell you that style is whack. That line you did is whack. Those freestyles are whack. Because your best friend and your crew will be like, that's dope, that's dope. If you're the hottest one in the crew, regardless, they'll be like, yo, Rome, you killing it.
Your whole crew got you gassed
You
up.
killing it. But you need somebody to say, yo, work harder on that. You good. You could be the one, like with my crew on the east side, I was always viewed as like the breakout rapper that was going to take to the next level. So everybody from drug dealers to pimps to everybody was like, yo, T, man, just keep working on them rhymes, dog. Cats would come out of jail and be like, I saw you on the cover of the Chronicle. I almost cried when I was in jail because I went to Keeling with you, right? So get you some real friends who's really going to tell you that's whack and that's dope and really hold their opinion to a high standards that somebody you can trust.
That's right. Let's go back on that question. So once the neighborhood starts seeing us as ghetto athletes, ghetto artists are trying to make something out of themselves, the gangs left us alone. Let them be. So I went to Mexico when the drug cartel wars was happening, one of the crews over there was like, Rome, we need B-Boy City in Mexico. Yo, well, I don't want to get killed, I want to get shot. But I was like, all right, well, how are we going to do it? So B-Boys from Laredo went across the border, went there, and it was thousands of these kids. I said, all right, I'm going to help y'all. First, y'all got to stop gangbanging. Y'all got to stop killing each other. And y'all got to come together. I said, first of all, at the event, after the event, we're having an after party. But we're at this after party, but you're the only crew. Where are the others? Like, where the 50 crews were? Oh, we don't like those moves. Look, I know y'all don't like each other, but y'all got to respect each other. How many were y'all? Like 900? If 900 spent those pesos at this club and bought a bunch of drinks, that venue will feel it. That venue made a whole lot of money. You know what? That venue will tell the other venue, say, no, those kids from all over, those breakdancers, we made like a whole lot of money. I think we should let them do it again. And that's how you started. And that's how you, so going, long story short, B-Boy City, Mexico now, going on at a 14th year, and it's funded by the government. And I asked them about the cartel. The cartel don't care about you dance. They want their little brothers to dance. Just don't mess with that. So now Red Bull throws one of the biggest events, Latin American Red Bull BC1 Finals in, well, they did it a while back, in Monterrey, Mexico. Stuff like that. But that started, that unity started in Austin. Here, it spread like wildfire. That's how we bridge the gap.
It's an incredible group of leaders that you guys have in Austin. Incredible history that you have. We were talking about it before. You mentioned the film. We talked about books. I really hope that you guys put this down on paper, put it down in film so you could pass it along. The people, the public should know the history of their own city, should know your history, your history, your history, your history. Come together, please, so you can share that. A panel isn't enough. An hour isn't enough.
They need visual, they want to see it. But I want to say, coming from Austin, South Austin, I want to say thank you. You could have chose anywhere in the world to throw this party. You are here, bro.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. It really truly is. We, the Museum of Graffiti lives in Miami, Florida. We're a new museum. We've been around almost 4 years. We do this because we believe in this movement, in this culture. I grew up in it since I was a small kid. It gave me a lot, I've traveled around the world with it. I teach all kinds of things. And so we do this to continue to give back because we want to see it grow. People are like, yo, why did you do a museum? I'm like, because it was needed. Because no one else did it. Someone else could have done it, but it hasn't happened. So when people ask me, well, why don't you do a museum in Austin or Philly or whatever? I'm like, no, why don't you do the museum? Right? We need you to step up. We need you to step up. We need to do this. And so we came here for this exhibition because hip hop is celebrating its 50-year anniversary. This is the place to be, as you guys know. Austin's got great energy, right? We learning about your history. It's got great history. This is Hip Hop 50. We hope to see more celebrations in more cities around the world. And we do this because we love it. And we're so grateful that you all have come together and embraced us, because without y'all, we wouldn't be here, period. Right? And thank you very much.
I really want to add to that, too. Again, thank you so much, you and Allison. Again, reiterating, supporting the culture and, recognizing creators. And I wanted to bring up another special thing that we got to do with you guys, because to me it relates to this entire panel. So we officially announced and launched our signature spray paint line with Loop. And the cans are available in the gift shop. I am wearing a t-shirt I got the first time I met Kat, 2019, in the Museum of Graffiti, because I wanted to bring these things up to remind us all that you have to support, You come in, the first time I went in Museum of Graffiti, I had my mom, my kids, I'm like, everybody pick out something. We have to buy stuff. You have to buy the art, you have to buy the records, you have to pay the door fee, But I just wanted to bring it up as a thank you because what to me made this special thing that Nate and I put together with Loop was it is the first 100% profit or 100% proceeds of profits will go to the summer camps at Hope for the kids. It is the first beneficial paint in history, actually, and we're doing it here in Austin.
Big time, big time.
Yeah.
These are the ideas that are needed, right? These are the ways that we sustain ourselves and our community. It's really important. You guys coming here, I know you understand that and you believe that. Andy, you buying that shirt means a lot. And when we met that day, that shirt was designed by Rambo, my homie Rambo, rest in peace. He's no longer with us. He designed it. He was a great lover of hip hop, poet, MC, graffiti, craziest guy you'll ever meet. And something to consider is, and to say, and we haven't talked about this, you got to stay away from drugs. Drugs are ruining our community. It was touched upon. Rambo OD'd. He died recently. You have to stay away. You got to try to live a clean life. You know, we want you to survive. We want to live. We want you to live. So we don't talk about that enough. This is not a mental health panel. This is not a drug panel. But just seeing that reminds me of his passing and in a tragic way. But yeah, sustainability. We have to support each other. You mentioned it with your example of the clubs in Mexico and putting the money into the venues so that the venues could turn around and say, yes, we will support this, we'll bring it back. All of that stuff matters, right? Empowerment through the way you spend your money. You can choose to spend it on this or on that. Spend it within the hip hop community because it supports what we're doing and we can continue to deliver and grow and feed each other. The money stays in our community, goes around, it circulates. It's powerful like that. And next up, speaking of circulating money, we have a Modelo drop of the day. Talib Kweli is going to be with us in a minute for a book signing of his book. We only bought 25 copies down for his signing. And so there's 25 lucky people in the audience that'll step up and purchase his book and meet Talib Kweli. And I met Talib Kweli in Cuba, or even before that, back in the days, because he's been a member of the hip-hop community for a long time as well. And so that's how we stay alive. We stay alive by working together, by supporting each other, by going to each other's events, by checking out what we're doing. T-Dub, we met the other day, and you told me about Tuesday nights at C-Boys. And guess where I was at? I was at T-Dub, was at C-Boys when I should have been asleep.
But you was there rocking with us. And I want to add to that, too, all creatives, I think we're all creatives in our own right. If there's something in your scene that isn't there, create it. Make it. Everything, you can create that. Like back in the days, the Chronicle, you see it hip hop in the Chronicle all the time, but there was a point where they wasn't covering it. So myself, Babu Blakes, and Bobby Dixon, we created Show and Prove, which was like Austin's first Source magazine. And that gave you a full highlight of all the shows, all the DJs. We interviewed people who came down, and that was our way to express our culture when the other media wasn't covering it. So if you look around and say, why aren't they covering this? Why isn't this there? Why isn't there a show with this? Go create it. Nobody's stopping you. Go create it. The art form is us. We're not, you know what I mean? It's us. So we should create that and keep it sustainable.
That's right.
One last thing that I want to say, I want to shout out our sponsors. And so just like we support each other, we have learned how to infiltrate and talk to these corporations. Our friends have gone into these businesses now, so it's easy for us to pick up the phone and build these relationships because many of them come from within our community. They went the corporate route to infiltrate so that they can bring the money back to the community. So big up all these companies that supported this particular month, week, activation, weekend. Left to right, I'm going to shout you guys out. Champion. I met my boy, Marissa's holding it down. My boy Manny from Champion, I know him from way back. He's holding it down at Champion. He's an OG graffiti writer from New York City that went in and infiltrated Champion. And he's down with us. Mi Campo Tequila, they didn't have to do this, but they believe in us. They believe in the mission of the Museum of Graffiti, and they've been here with the Artist Lounge all weekend long. They've poured so much tequila. It's crazy, incredible.
They never been in Austin.
Even in Austin, exactly. Modelo has come through in a major way. supporting us, presenting these drops, helping us to bring in these artists to have these meet and greets that we're doing. So Talib Kweli is part of that today. iHeartRadio promoting us through the airwaves so people can know that we're here.
Yes.
Great partnership. They believe in
Yes.
hip-hop music, and they're here with us today. Casetify. Casetify is one of the reasons why we have these panel discussions, because they said we're down to help support and make this happen. So big up to Casetify and Matt, who's down with us. WCC in Austin, West Chelsea Contemporary, sells Slow, represents and sells some of Sloke's work. Say Adams, Risk, some great artists from around the world are here just up the block. You can see their work. You can own their work. Great gallery. So we know them, and they're one of our partners. And of course, Hope Outdoor Gallery.
Yeah.
We love the work that you're doing. Please keep it up. It's important to our community. It's important to your city. We hope to continue to see your model in other cities. We want people to learn from her, from us, and replicate it. We're not selfish. When we innovate, we want other people to take that innovation and add to it and flip it and grow it. That's hip hop.
Well, okay, so I just have to make sure, because I'm not sure if you're going to do it. Please tell your friends and family. This exhibit is up till March 28th, and it's great to bring your kids to during the day. You know, we all know what South by is like let this craziness happen. But next week, you know, bring people, experience the incredible history that they brought here for us to have, and then all the beautiful gifts, and share it.
Thank you. So the exhibition, I know you know because it's here, it's called The Art of Hip Hop. And it's looking at the behind-the-scenes creators of hip-hop, the photographers, the designers, the graffiti artists, the illustrators, the people that made the look of the things that you've seen, the people that are shown inside the exhibition are incredible. They are legendary. These are no slouches. These are incredible people. They've been hanging out with y'all in the mix. You might or might not have even known that they were here with you. Danny Hastings, Aaron O'Brien, Queen Andrea, Mike Miller, all these people, Dr. Dax from Atlanta, from the Dungeon family. They're all here. They're all hanging out all weekend with us. And that's their work in there. And so you get to learn of hip-hop history through the eyes of the people that weren't just the MCs, but that were there with them, documenting our movement. And so please take a look at the exhibition, study it. I spent a lot of time putting that together. My team and I have worked really, really hard to do that for you. It's the first time it's been seen. This is a brand new exhibition.
Yeah.
It's never before been presented. There's a lot of gems in there. We have a tremendous gift shop with all kinds of things. Today we released Danny Hastings' original photographs that are available. They're not available anywhere else. Wu-Tang, Eminem, Big Pun, all contact sheets, crazy prices. I can't even believe it. He's basically giving them away. They are in the gift shop. All kinds of gems in there. And so please take a look and see what's in there. And join us for the Modelo drop with Talib Kweli in just a few minutes. Thank you, everybody. We're going to say one last thing right there, and we'll wrap it up.
One last thing. I don't know if y'all saw the cypher earlier. The B-Boys did like a cypher. It was heated. But tomorrow at Native, we're having a B-Boy competition, 7 to Smoke. And we're also having an after party. DJ Chorizo Funk, Silent Rob, Rudy Rex is free. Free drinks at Native.
That's got to
Check
be
it
one of
out.
the best
It's gonna be
DJ
hot.
names. Chorizo Funk. What the
Chorizo
hell?
Funk is Austin's #1 DJ for like 3 years now on the
Yeah.
clock.
That is
Austin
a
Music
crazy
Awards.
name, Chorizo Funk.
I gave him that name, dog. People don't even know. Chorizo.
Yes.
Chorizo Funk, bro.
Eddie.
Thank you, everybody.